Benimaru got engaged to two women and created a new culture within Tempest, which even Shio and Shuna follow as they pursue Rimuru. Our favorite Oni won the hearts of two women, one of whom is incredibly powerful, a descendant of a secluded clan, and Hakuro's daughter. Yes, Hakuro has a daughter, and she's competing for Benimaru. The conflict between these two women, both captivated by Benimaru, is what led to a new tradition in Tempest, something that would truly make history in the country. It all began after Rimuru became a true demon lord. While preparing for the upcoming festival and continuing on the ongoing construction, Rimuru needed to create a road that would pass near the Kusha Mountains, which lie on the borders of Jura Tempest, where the Tangu reside. The Tangu are hybrids, angels incarnated in the bodies of wolfmen. In other words, the appearance is that of a wolfman, and the race originated from an angel incarnate in one of them. The Kusha Mountains have been the residence of Tangu for a long time, and they are a powerful force on their own. Since the highway to Sarion would pass very close to their territory, which was no longer under Rimuru's jurisdiction, he sent Benimaru to negotiate with Tangu, with Alvis joining with him. And this is where it all begins. Benimaru went to the Tangu homeland and arrived without issues. Upon entering their territory, he was greeted by Momiji, the daughter of the Tangu elder. After the initial greetings, she abruptly asked if Rimuru intends to take over their lands, making it clear that Benimaru was not welcome there. Benimaru, of course, deftly navigated the conversation and stated his business. And talking about it, we discovered that passing through their lands was not an issue, but excavating a tunnel through the mountain was irrational to Momiji. And this excavation through the mountain was an idea that Rimuru asked to Benimaru ask for them. The initial plan was just passing through their lands, bypassing the mountain, but Rimuru wanted to know if excavation a tunnel through the mountain was possible or not, and now we know it isn't. Momiji was irritated by the request, and then insulted Benimaru, disparaged Rimuru, and even scorned Alvis, who was present of course. Momiji was stating that they would not tolerate anyone mocking the glorious mountains of the Tangu. It seemed they were extremely attached to their mountains, and the mere idea of digging into them was absurd to them. Despite the situation, Benimaru had no intention of causing trouble. However, Alvis took offense at Momiji's remarks, and before Benimaru could stop them, both women began to fight. Alvis tried to use his cursed eyes, but they have no effect on Momiji. As a Tangu and a semi-spiritual being, such abilities would not work on her. Momiji then struck Alvis with her fan, hitting her side and sending her flying. Thus, the two of them began, openly provoking and fighting each other, with Alvis clearly losing the exchanges and proving to be weaker than Momiji. Benimaru continued snipping his tea, wondering how it comes to this. That is, until they got too excited and Momiji lost control of her powers, using a strike that would have killed Alvis. But Benimaru intervened, disarming Momiji and saving his companion. Naturally, both women were offended by his actions, one thinking that would not die, and the other thinking that would not have killed. Then Kaede, Momiji's mother, arrived to reprimand her foolish daughter, and confirming that Momiji would have killed Alvis. With Kaede's arrival, the group then moved to a more inner part of their location, and Kaede took over the negotiations with Benimaru from there. When talking with Benimaru, Kaede immediately recognized the raised swordsmanship that Arwani was using, mentioned that she studied the same style under Byakuya Araki, her master and Hakuro's grandfather. She explained that over 300 years ago, during her journey, she became Byakuya's apprentice alongside his grandson, whom Byakuya could not name, as it would have killed him. And of course, it was because naming a monster is a dangerous thing to do, since its powers is used to such. As time passed, this grandson became a virtual swordsman who could defeat even Kaede in terms of technique. After losing to him, she fell in love, confessed, and they share a night of passion. Thus, Kaede had a night of love with Hakuro, and because of that, she was surprised and happy to see that the ogre swordsman received a name and was still alive. And here, Kaede would drop two bombshells. First, First, Momiji is also Hakuro's daughter, and second, Benimaru is her future fiancé. She then stated that she was more than willing to accept Benimaru's and Rimuru's requests, even prepared to let Rimuru govern the Tangu lands, but only if Benimaru took Momiji as his wife. While Benimaru was completely stunned, Momiji was beaming, talking about winning his love first before such things, not opposed to marriage, but wanting to make him fall in love with her first. And with all this sudden turbulence, they separate to think things over, and the reason Kaede suddenly suggested this marriage was because she was nearing the end of her life. When she gave birth to Momiji, a lot of her power was already waned, and naming her daughter consumed the rest. Thus, Kaede was left almost powerless, even though she was once revered as the goddess of the mountain. Now, facing her impending death, she found Benimaru, a young man raised by her former lover, who could support her beloved daughter. So yes, for her it was all perfect. Inclusive, upon informing Hakuro that he had a daughter and that Benimaru was hesitating to accept the marriage, he became furious, asking if Benimaru didn't like his daughter. Having just discovered he had a daughter, Hakuro immediately assumed his responsibilities as a father. However, he particularly seemed to enjoy the distress Benimaru was experiencing. And so, with this we pass some time. Now, Momiji traveled to Tempest to negotiate directly with Rimuru. Momiji attempted a bold and daring act, one she wasn't confident in, by telling Rimuru to not interfere in Tangu affairs in a very direct manner, making her anxious to see his reaction. Obviously, some of the executives didn't like it, but no one said anything, and Rimuru just accepted, going easy on Momiji. Here we discovered that the Tangu didn't mind if Rimuru used the minerals and resources of the mountains. They were upset by his association with Frey, with always being there as proof of that. Before joining Milen, Freya had her eyes on the Kusha mountains because of their height, and she had been in conflict with the Tangu because of it. Since Frey became a subordinate of Milen alongside Carrion, and Rimuru had a subordinate of Carrion present, Momiji misunderstood the situation and antagonized them from the start. That is mainly why she was so rude and insulted Benimaru and Alves during their first meeting. But Rimuru explained the misunderstanding, and things got resolved, leaving Momiji quite shocked that she had been worried about nothing. After this, the negotiations continued, and we finally reached the main point. Kaede sent a letter to Rimuru and Hakuro, where she declared a bit of her love to the ogre swordsman, and told him about Momiji, the daughter they had together. In the letter, she asked Hakuro to guide their daughter, who has strength but lacks technique, and Hakuro accepted, saying he would train her to overcome her challenge and win Benimaru's heart. And with this said, Shuna delivered a message for Alves to Benimaru. Alves declared that she intended to defeat Momiji in a battle and claimed the right to be Benimaru's primary wife, and in the worst case scenario, she could be his concubine. Of course, with both women declaring the intent to marry Benimaru, his headache only worsened, while the rest of the men commented on the situation. Some were envious, others tired of harems, and others just amused. Gabiru was envious, so he was fed with multiple women, and Rimuru was having fun. Benimaru said that everything was happening too fast, and that he only intended to have one spouse in his life, although we know it won't turn on that way. The point is that for those born of magic, having children is not easy, since it always wakens them. There are cases where someone has multiple wives, and they compete to see who gets pregnant first, but Benimaru isn't interested in that. He plans to have one spouse and it is it. However, the girls already planned what they will do now. Hearing Benimaru's response, Momiji declared that she accepted Alves' challenge and would win the role of Benimaru's wife with her own hands. And Rimuru, hearing this, accepted it as long as they didn't duel to the death, and it was just a contest to court him. This way there was no problems. And from this, a new tradition was born in Tempest, the tradition that if you love someone, prove it with your own strength. Love on battlefield. Additionally, Shuna and Shion declared their participation, with Shion saying she would defeat Shuna, and Shuna telling her to do her best against her. And of course, they are talking about Rimuru's. And that's how Benimaru winning the hearts of two girls results in a completely new tradition of Tempest. If you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel to support my work. Leave a like to show your support for the video and comment below your thoughts on the story. Now, bye bye.